Bill here. Hi everybody. Today's Wednesday, August 16th, 2023. We're continuing on today with part 2 of why invest in precious metals, or the basics of investing in precious metals. And last week we discussed the role of inflation and how that inflation is taking off again, largely due to rising energy prices. And we talked about oil being, we only have 16 days worth of oil in our strategic petroleum reserve, and how oil is, we have a higher demand and lower supply available for Americans. So we're seeing energy across the board increasing at this time, and that tends to influence the price of nearly everything because it's a part of everything, including precious metals. So while that brings a floor, raises the floor underneath precious metals, which is lowering the risk of a price drop below that floor, today we want to talk about the BRICS Summit that's coming up next week and how that is raising the upper level of prices for precious metals. So we have momentum coming from underneath and also from up top for precious metals, which makes it an opportune time to be an owner of precious metals going forward. So there's been a lot of speculation about the BRICS Summit. There's been contradictory remarks by various participants talking about a gold-backed currency going to be announced, or just simply a continuation of a trading system that's been developed. In the end, we won't know until the meeting happens, but regardless of what happens, the trend is clear. It's higher gold prices, higher precious metals prices in the days ahead, especially priced in dollars. And here's why. It doesn't matter the specifics of what the BRICS Plus nations do next week or what they announce. The fact is they've already laid the groundwork to begin moving away from the dollar. They already have the BRICS version of the World Bank. They have a BRICS version of the IMF, and they have a BRICS version of SWIFT, which is the bank settlement system used primarily by the West. Actually, worldwide, everybody pretty much was using SWIFT, but they've developed their own system, and they've been conducting a lot of trade recently already using local and regional currencies. In fact, China and Russia have been trading oil and energy priced in yuan, priced in rubles. Russia has been selling oil to India lately. India is using their own currency, the rupee. However, there's a very simple solution to what they would need to do in order to expand trade further. In a similar fashion to the IMF, which has what they call SDRs, or special drawing rights. And the value of those SDRs are based on a basket of currencies. Well, in a similar fashion, the BRICS nations could simply declare their version of an SDR and have the value be tied to a certain weight of gold, or a part of it be tied to a weight of gold. And that would be a very logical step for them to take, especially in light of the fact that central banks around the world have been purchasing gold at the highest level in history. This started in 2022 and it's continued this year in 2023. And so gold is going to play a more prominent role going forward, and the dollar is likely to play a diminishing role in world trade. There are nations in the queue to join BRICS, and so whether it expands to 20 or 30 or 60, we're looking at a 50 to 80% of the world's population and over 50% of world GDP will be conducting trade outside of the realm of the dollar, eventually using the BRICS system. So that's going to diminish the role of the greenback, and it's going to increase the role of gold. And that's an environment that you want to be an owner of precious metals. Not only because of the inflation that's bringing up a floor underneath metals prices, but also what the BRICS are doing, BRICS nations are doing to diminish the role of the dollar, and that's going to raise the upper limit of gold prices going forward. So there's less risk and more growth potential, and that's why I believe everybody should be an owner of precious metals. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again soon. Have a great rest of your week.